Start with Elon Musk terminating that deal to buy Twitter, claiming the company has failed to provide complete information on spam accounts. In response, Chairman Brett Taylor did tweet the Twitter board is committed to closing the transaction on the price and terms agreed upon with Mr. Musk and plans to pursue legal action to enforce the merger agreement. We are confident we will prevail in the Delaware Court of Chancery. Musk, of course, replying with memes, essentially laughing at the process and the prospect of SEC oversight.
Look, I think that the Delaware Chancery, and David, you can argue with this, but they have to protect the notion of Delaware as the place where corporations are. So as much as Musk is poking fun, I don't think the Chancery is going to be a rollover.
No. There's so many different things to discuss here. Now, this happened late on Friday. There's been a lot of opportunity for people to write about it over these last couple of days. But we're going to end up in Delaware court probably pretty soon. We have yet to see the complaint from Twitter, right? They haven't yet filed. They will. First question is, will they get an expedited review? That seems likely. There's a lot of damage potentially being done to Twitter's business by the fact that Mr. Musk continues to essentially allege fraud. And so one would imagine Delaware will be anxious to see the parties in court as soon as possible. And then, of course, you will have an adjudication of the merits of the claims that Mr. Musk is bringing or is saying, or the reasons for why Twitter is in breach. At this point, as I've been saying for months, we were going to end up in court, first of all.
Right. But you also thought negotiation.
And many people still believe ultimately this will end up with a price cut, that this is simply a buyer's remorse situation, and that we will end up with a price cut. But I mean, this was back on May 16th when I was talking about this deal, Jim, and this is what we were saying even back then. Take a listen. They have a very tight merger agreement here. The MAE clause, all of it's quite strong. Doesn't mean, because it's Musk, that he won't figure out a way to do something here. It's going to end up in court. I mean,
well done.
We're sitting here now, and we're going to end up in court very soon. Now, the claims that he's making are, you've got a lot more bots here than you claim in your SEC filings, but he has no evidence presented thus far to in any way enhance that. And by the way, in court, it doesn't mean, those tweets that he had where, we're going to find out now. No, they don't necessarily have to rebut him. He's got to also bring evidence in court that says we believe and why we believe. And then they can rebut that.
The stakes are high for their board, though.
Without a doubt.
The stakes are really high.
And the
no one's talking about this
the company's in a very difficult position here with him attacking them constantly. And now really, with their basic business model in question to a certain extent, with him saying, we think that it's a far higher percentage of people who are paying for advertising that are nothing more than bots. He also is making a claim, of course, that they are not in compliance with the SEC, given that perhaps this has been fraudulent. But even if you were to prove that there were a higher number of bots, Jim, you still have to prove that it actually is a material adverse effect.
I don't think it is. He spent a lot of time, and his team spent a lot of time with management, Carl, going over a very strong period of open, strong meaning that Musk really felt that they had gotten a real good look at it. So that's going to hold against them. I still think that the likelihood that they get some sort of price cut is good. Boy, the board is in trouble if they just get that walkaway fee.
Yeah. Well, no, there's no way. Sorry, Carl. There's no way they're going to take the walkaway fee. They have specific performance in the contract. They are going to have a Delaware judge enforce that contract and say these are the reasons why.
Right.
Most of the people that you speak with, or at least certainly that I have, believe that in fact will be the case.
So
then the question is, well, okay, you're forcing Mr. Musk to buy the company. Does he actually agree to do it? There's this argument that being said lately that, well, maybe he won't comply with that.
Right.
Well, then we'd have a situation where they could put him in jail.
Right, but people don't think they can.
I know you laugh, but
because it's funny, the idea of him going to jail.
But that's where we could end up. I mean, this is a man who doesn't play by the rules.
Well, that's the only enforcement that they have.
And if he conceivably does that, the other out, of course,
David, the takeaway is going to be Faber says Musk going to jail. You got about 10 seconds to repeal that.
No, the other big out is the financing. If the banks were to pull the financing, that would then allow him to pay the $1 billion, and he'd be done. It seems unlikely, although when they fund immediately on that financing, they are going to be losing money, those banks. But they got $33 billion in equity in front of them, and that's where he signed personally the equity commitment that he is going to be forced by a court to make good on if they find that his claims are, in fact, null and void.
Well, it's interesting for people to understand that this is Skadden Arps, Twitter, right?
No, Skadden Arps is Musk. Skadden is Musk. Wachtel is at Twitter. And Simpson and Thatcher, by the way, which has been there for.
But this is and Wilson Sonsini.
Yeah, they're his lawyer. But
I know, but
it's
I'm
more
just saying
Wachtel
that, I mean, Wachtel is real, and Skadden is real.
They're all real.